Hey y'all. So today I want to talk to you about a concept that people have asked me, do you use hypnosis on yourself? How do you do that? And there's several different ways that you can practice self-hypnosis. There's one, uh, learning hypnosis and going through all of the process and the techniques and doing an induction on yourself with the thoughts in mind that you want the unconscious mind to work on. There are options where, depending on what I want to work on, I will sometimes make a recording for myself. There are other times when I use other hypnotists for things that I want to work on that are more would be more in depth in what I want to get in and work on. And then there are times where I use a technique, and many times I use this technique, and I encourage you to explore it as well. It's something that we call free writing. And with this technique, you can begin to unlock the powers of your unconscious mind. You know, we live in a day and a time where it's easy to overthink things. It's easy to allow all of these external distractions drown out our inner voice so that we don't even hear ourselves. And we're not able to access the depths of our unconscious mind because of all of these distractions. It can reach the point where it just feels like it's an elusive goal. But with free writing, there's a way that I found to bridge that gap between those conscious thoughts and that chatter and that clutter that's going on and that hidden inner wisdom that we call the unconscious mind. And so with free writing, it's kind of like mindful journaling that we've talked about before in some other videos, and I've talked about it with clients, and the jubilation journal is one of those concepts. But with free writing, it's a little different than journaling because it creates this space for introspection, this time for some actual self-discovery. And it takes it a step further than just the journaling by unlocking some profound insights and creativity that's in the resources of your unconscious mind. So, what is free writing? Well, it's a stream of consciousness practice that you let your thoughts flow freely onto the page without editing, without censoring, without judging. It's not about crafting the perfect sentences or even sticking to a topic, but it's more about exploring the unfiltered landscape that's going on in your mind. So think about it this way. It's more of a conversation with your unconscious. It's a way to uncover some hidden emotions. It's a way to solve some problems, and it's a way to spark some creativity. Unlike normal journaling, traditional journaling, which often has a structure or it has prompts, things in mind, different styles. Free writing is not bound by any of those rules or regulations, but it's more spontaneous. It allows you to bypass that critical faculty of the conscious mind. And it goes around those filters and it taps into those deeper layers of thought and memory and emotion. Because your unconscious mind holds a treasure trove of information. It's got all of those memories, those desires, those creative ideas, those fears, those all of those things that influence your thoughts and your actions. in a way that you may not fully realize consciously. But because these insights are lying just beneath the surface, sometimes accessing them, finding them, requires a method of bypassing the noise of daily life. And so I found that free writing serves as that method for me. It works well, and it's a key to unlocking that hidden vault that I have within inside me. When you allow your pen or your keyboard, I like to use a pen and write it by hand myself. You may prefer typing it out. But when you allow either the pen or the keyboard to move without restriction, you don't edit, you don't allow the inner editor to come out, and you're moving restriction free, you find patterns and revelations begin to emerge. And these moments of clarity can be transformative. They can help you understand yourself better. They can help you make decisions or even solve problems that seem like there's no answer to be found. And so, if you take on this new technique, what are some benefits that you can gain from it? Well, one, it'll enhance your creativity. Because free writing silences that inner critic. It allows those creative ideas to emerge. A lot of writers, a lot of artists, a lot of creators use this practice to break through some of those mental blocks that's been going on. It allows for emotional release. It gives you a safe space to vent emotions, because, unless you choose to, no one else, unless you choose to share this, no one else is ever going to read this writing. And so it gives you that safe space to vent your emotions that may be difficult to express otherwise. And by releasing a lot of these pent-up thoughts and emotions, you create room for more emotional clarity and healing. And then it offers the opportunity for self-awareness. This practice encourages you to go inward. It helps you identify recurring patterns in your thought. It helps you uncover those suppressed feelings and to understand what actually motivates you and what is unmotivating for you. And then free writing can be used to help in problem solving. It can help you untangle these complex issues by laying them out in an unfiltered way. And you may be surprised to find that solutions or answers often pop up when you least expect them to. And free writing is a great way to reduce stress. The act of writing itself, the analog pen to paper, pencil to paper, and I like to, depending on what I'm doing, I'll use a pen or a pencil. If I'm wanting to write faster, then the pen is my go-to choice. If I want to slow down and reflect on what I'm writing a little more, the pencil is my choice. It slows down. It's a slower writing utensil for me. But just the act of writing can be therapeutic. It provides a sense of relief and grounding. And so with these benefits in mind, next question you probably have is, well, how do I start? How do I practice free writing? Well, you want to use this to unlock that full potential of your unconscious mind. And so the first thing you do is approach it with intention and openness. Let's try this. Let's be curious. Let's explore. And as you begin to approach it, you want to set the scene. You want to find a quiet, comfortable space where you won't be disturbed for a few minutes. And the environment doesn't have to be perfect. You can do this at a coffee shop. You can do this at a restaurant. You can do this at home. You can do this at your desk. You can do this, if you're stopped in your car somewhere in the parking lot. The environment doesn't have to be perfect, but it should allow you an opportunity to focus on your writing, if that makes sense, so that you're not distracted every few minutes and having to stop the flow. And then you want to choose your medium. So you decide whether you're going to write this out by hand. Again, as I said, that's how I prefer to do it, writing it out by hand. And to me, it just feels more personal, more tactile. So I have it's more of a kinesthetic type feel for me. But you may type faster if your thoughts flow more quickly. And so you choose your medium. Like I said, I prefer a notebook. I've got this new notebook cover that I got a couple of weeks ago that I'm using, and it actually holds 2 composition books in it. And I use one for regular journaling, and I use one for free writing. And when we talk about free writing and losing the editor, this, I don't know if this will focus in, but you can see how messy that is. There is no pauses in there for editing. We don't worry about spelling, and I just keep my hand moving. So sometimes I'm just looping the pen across the page until the thought process picks back up again. And you do this within a time frame, so it's not a constant thing that you're not going to end on. So you set a timer. I used my phone for a timer. You may have the little kitchen timers that look like the little tomatoes, or an egg timer with the little hourglass looking concept, but set a timer. And to begin with, you can start with 5 to 10 minutes. And as you become more familiar with the process, you may want to increase that time to 20 or 30 minutes at a time. And the timer gives you a sense of urgency, so that it helps to quiet that inner critic and keep that editor at bay, so that your writing can continue to flow. And then you just start. When you start that timer, you start with a blank page or a document on your computer, and you write whatever comes to your mind. You don't worry about grammar, punctuation. You don't worry about whether or not it's even coherent. If you're stuck, you write, well, I don't know what to write, until something else surfaces. Or again, as I said, loop the pen. Just keep that pen flowing. And then let go of the expectations. Remember, this is not a polished piece of work. It's okay if your writing seems chaotic or nonsensical. The goal here is to let your thoughts pour out without judgment. And then you can come back and revisit this later. So while this act of writing itself is valuable, reviewing your work after some time can reveal those patterns, those insights, those ideas that you may have overlooked during the process. Maybe you feel intimidated by this, looking at a blank page. Maybe you need a little help to get started. Well, here's a few ideas to try. So when you sit down and you get your timer ready, you got your document open on the computer, you got your notebook out to clear a blank page. And usually the way I do is I'll put the date up in the upper right corner and the time that I started my writing, and then for how long. So if it's 10 minutes or 20 minutes, up in that corner. And then I'm ready and I hit the timer. So, and I get started. And so sometimes when you get started, you need a little kickstart, a little prompt to get you going. So here's some of those that might be helpful for you. When you sit down to write, think, well, what's been weighing on my mind lately? What has me feeling heavy or down? And then just open up, dump it out on the page. Or maybe the thought of, what do I want, but I haven't allowed myself to fully pursue. Or another thought, a prompt, what would I do if I had no fear of failure? Or if money was not an object, what would I do? Or maybe take a few minutes and describe a recent dream that you had, or a random thought that's been stuck in your mind, or maybe the thought, what does my ideal day look like? There's so many things that you can approach this blank page with, and so many thoughts that a lot of times, because there's so much, it gives you that analysis paralysis. So just use some of these simple prompts to get you started. And I think once you begin to experience it and learn it and become more familiar with the practice, you'll find it becomes easier to sit down and write. And so with this free writing technique, it connects with the unconscious mind. It connects with actually with mindfulness. I understand it may seem unstructured or kind of chaotic when you compare it to the practice of mindful journaling. But there is a common thread. Both encourage that presence, that deeper connection with oneself. Mindful journaling, it focuses on grounding yourself in the present moment, while the practice of free writing goes a step further by exploring the vast, untamed terrain of your unconscious mind. And so by embracing both of these practices, you begin to create a holistic approach for introspection, for going inside. Mindful journaling keeps you anchored, while free writing lets you wander and explore, uncovering different insights that you didn't even know that you may have been seeking. So free writing is more than just a writing exercise. It's a tool to transform. It provides you a direct line to your unconscious mind, allowing you to access creativity. It gives you the ability to resolve some internal conflicts you may have been dealing with. And it allows you to connect with your authentic self, whether you're facing a creative block or dealing with some unwanted emotions or simply seeking clarity. Free writing can be the key to unlocking the wisdom and the power within. So I encourage you today, grab a notebook or open a blank document, set a timer, start with 5 minutes, and then just let the words flow. And what you discover may just surprise you. And it may actually lead you closer to those hidden treasures that you have within you.